This is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Tuesday, July 29th, 2025. The main fire potential impacts for the next couple of days include an increase in thunderstorm activity over Idaho and parts of western and northwest Nevada over the next few days, as well as some wind coming to southern Utah, southwest Utah, especially over the next few days as well, with gusts up to 35 miles an hour expected on Wednesday and Thursday. Yesterday, we saw a few isolated storms pop up over far western Nevada and over the central Idaho mountains. And then overnight, there were some storms that moved through the central Idaho mountains as well. And those storms are kind of shaded in this more reddish color here. These storms were generally on the dry side, very light precip totals. Activity was pretty light yesterday with 15 fires for only 12 acres, and our large fire growth was just under 4,000 acres, much of that coming on the Monroe fire. Observed precip for the past 14 days here. The percent of normal is showing generally dry conditions across much of Utah and Nevada. Some higher precip totals compared to normal over far western Nevada, but Idaho is also has been on the drier side over the past couple of weeks. ERCs continue to show very high values over parts of western Utah and into eastern Nevada, with some decreasing values over far western Nevada with recent precipitation, and then kind of a mixed bag over the central Idaho mountains, but these values will be decreasing over the coming days. A closer look at the central Idaho mountains again, where we have seen recent lightning and where we're expecting to see lightning over the next couple of days, does show those values coming back to near normal and even below normal over the next 5 days or so, with some precipitation moving into that area and accompanying those storms. Further south over Utah, the values remain very elevated, in fact, continuing to set historical records for many of the zones in central and southern Utah, with the dry air mass moving back into the area. Smoke impacts for today and tomorrow are shown here. Mostly we're looking for smoke coming off the Monroe Canyon fire and the Dragon Bravo fire in northern Arizona. This morning's satellite imagery is showing high pressure located off to the east, with the general troughiness over the west coast and Pacific Northwest. We'll see a series of shortwave troughs moving through the flow into western Nevada and up into central Idaho over the coming days, leading to that increase in some thunderstorm activity. We'll also see the winds pick up ahead of those little shortwaves that move through, particularly across western southwest Utah over the coming days as well. So for today, again, generally we have generally southwest flow in place across the Great Basin, which is going to be quite dry over Utah and eastern Nevada, with a little bit of moisture moving through the flow with a short wave over far western Nevada and up into central Idaho. No high risk for today. Afternoon wind gusts are shown here, looking for some breezy winds over much of southwest Utah and the higher elevations today, and some gusty outflows over western Nevada and up into Idaho, where we will see some thunderstorms developing later. Minimum relative humidities are in the single digits across much of Utah and much of Nevada, and even into southeast Idaho, where we'll see pretty low relative humidities as well. Precipitation for this afternoon is expected to be developing over far western and northwest Nevada, and then over the central Idaho mountains as well. Temperatures are pretty high especially on the eastern side of the basin, with highs near 100 degrees in Salt Lake and up in the upper 90s in Boise as well. A little bit cooler over far western Nevada, again, where we'll see some of that cloud cover and thunderstorm development today. More of the same is expected on Wednesday as another little shortwave moves through the flow, kicking off some more thunderstorms over western Nevada and up into central Idaho. We'll also see the winds increase ahead of that little shortwave for some high risk over southwest and south central Utah and into southeast Nevada as well. So again, those winds are going to be stronger tomorrow over western Utah and into eastern Nevada, with gusts up to maybe 35 miles an hour or so. And then still expecting those gusty outflow winds with any thunderstorms, especially over western Nevada, where we'll see a little bit better coverage tomorrow, and then some thunderstorms developing once again over the central Idaho mountains, and maybe some isolated storms over western Wyoming. On Thursday, continued dry gusty winds over Utah as we'll see a stronger shortwave move into the Pacific Northwest, which will kick off a better chance for some showers and thunderstorms once again over the central Idaho mountains, and maybe some isolated storms continuing in Nevada. So those winds continuing to be quite breezy over southwest and western Utah on Thursday, with gusts again up to 35 or maybe even 40 miles an hour or so. And then looking for the precipitation over central Idaho, and we'll see some precip maybe increase over southwest Idaho on Thursday as well, and then could see a little band of some isolated, generally drier type storms moving into northeast Nevada on Thursday also. The 3-day precip totals are shown here, so decent chance of some wetting rains over the central Idaho mountains in the coming days, and over far northwest Nevada. Otherwise, some just more isolated, drier type storms over northeast Nevada and into southern Idaho. We could see some isolated storms in Utah as well. This is mostly going to be today, although they will be very isolated and on the drier side. By Friday, that shortwave trough continues to move into the Pacific Northwest and Northern Rockies, which will bring some cooler temperatures to the north, and we'll see dry westerly flow continue over Utah and Nevada. Winds lighten up a bit as that shortwave kind of moves to the north and east. So we have no high risk triggers for Friday. Generally dry westerly flow continues on Saturday as well. Again, westerly flow across much of the area, cooler temperatures across the north. That continues into Sunday as well, as we'll see a little bit of another shot of some westerly to northwesterly flow over Idaho, keeping things on the cooler side there. That takes us into the first of the week. Again, continued cooler temperatures across the north with dry conditions across the south. The 7-day precip total is really just showing what we're expecting in the short term, with the precip coming to Idaho and far northwest Nevada, with drier conditions persisting across Utah as we head into the first of next week. And then the extended forecast for August 5th through the 11th calls for above normal temperatures across much of the Great Basin, maybe a little bit closer to normal over the central Idaho mountains, with the below normal precipitation chances over Utah and Nevada. And then there's some above normal chances with troughs continuing over the Pacific Northwest. So really kind of a dry pattern as we head into the first part of August for Utah and Nevada. That concludes today's briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.